Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Ankush here from Alif Consulting. Welcome in our Azure Weekly Update video. In this video, we will be going to talk about all the updates which has been released by Microsoft for Azure Cloud. Right? So here are the four updates which has been released by Microsoft in last week, and all of these updates are related to the Azure Cloud. Right? So quickly, let's jump into the deep dive and understand what is this all updates are. Now the first update which we have is for Azure database for PostgreSQL flexible server. As we know, the encryption is the one of the way to encrypt the data which is stored on the PostgreSQL post flexible server, right? And this encryption allow us to basically encrypt the data with the specific key. Now, what we have is we have a customer managed key where customer can bring their own keys to encrypt the databases, right? So this feature is currently only available in a specific regions like Switzerland North, Switzerland West, Canada Central, South Asia, Asia East, and the Brazil South regions, right? With the customer managed key, add a secondary layer of protection by encrypting the service managed key with customer managed key. It's use the FES 140-2 validation cryptographic model, but with a different encryption algorithm, right? So in this case, like what is going to be happen, customer is going to manage the key, all the rotations, all the re-rotation of the keys, lifecycle management of the keys, everything will be managed by the customer. The key management by the customer, that is used to encrypt the service supplied key is stored into the key vault, Azure Key Vault service, providing the high security, highly availability, and disaster recovery features. Now the next update which we have is for Azure Backup for SAP HANA. There was a few enhancements or few new features has been introduced for Azure Backup for specifically for SAP HANA. The first update or first uh, enhancement we have is for a long-term retention for ad hoc backup, which means if you basically there's a two types of backup, right? One is called one is called specifically which is running on a regular basis, or second one is called ad hoc or on demand, right, where you're specifically going on an instance and enabling or doing the backup, right? So we do have a long retention for ad hoc backup, which means we can specifically specify it for how many long we specifically want to keep the backup outside of scheduled policy. The second option we have, or the second enhancement we have, is a partial restore of as a file. That's something we have a feature in Azure Backup for log, where we can specifically restore a file from the backup, but same thing is now available for SAP HANA. The third update which we have is, or the third enhancement which we have, is the seamless integration with the native clients and other tool, right? So earlier we do not have any kind of these capabilities. We had to switch off the backend before requesting or switching it back to the later on, increasing the RPOs. Now with this one, it allow us to a seamless integration with all the cloud native another tool, like on-demand backup to the local system file, HANA catalog cleanup for HANA database in Azure VM or an AF, triggering the snapshot with the Azure AZ snapshot tool. So all of these integrations are specifically there and has been introduced with the Azure Backup for SAP HANA. Right. So the next update which we have is specifically for regulatory purpose. Azure spare support is now basically have the European data boundaries enhanced, right? So what that means is, in keeping with the Microsoft mission to process and store the EU data exclusively within the EU boundaries, the Azure Spare security service now available with enables EU customer to process and store the images file and device crash dumps files within the EU as desired. The new regional data boundary setting is an optional parameter that can be used with Azure Spare image and Azure Spare device group commands, right? The next update which we have is for Azure Data Explorer. Apache log 4j to sync to Azure Data Explorer. What that means is Azure Data Explorer now support ingestion of a data from log4j with release of our new log4j sync. As we know, Log4j is a popular logging framework for Java applications maintained by Apache Foundation. Log4j allow developer to control which log statement are output with the granularity basis on the logger names, logger levels, or the messaging patterns. This sync allow us to easily stream your log data to the Azure Data Explorer, where you can analyze, visualize, and alert on logs into the real time with Log4j2 sync. You can take the advantage of ADX powerful query and ingestion capability to gain the insight into your log and detect the issue before they become a problem, right? So all of this update has been there for the Azure Data Explorer. That's it in this video. I hope you like this video. If you like, please click on like and subscribe for more upcoming videos, and feel free to reach us if you have any questions. Thank you.